What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? How did two guys in a cramped California garage reimagine the phone and put the power of the universe at our fingertips? At Americans for Prosperity, we believe greatness can happen anywhere. We just need freedom and the opportunity to make it real. But today, with a rigid system stifling progress, limiting creativity, and holding us back. That's why at AFP, we offer solutions that tackle the most critical challenges facing our country, so there's nothing standing in the way of America's next breakthrough. Because what we build today doesn't just shape the future, it defines it. How will you be defined? Take your first step today with Americans for Prosperity.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
When reason meets radio. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, welcome back into the program. Great to have you today for a midweek celebration. Always a pleasure. Thanks again to Congressman Ron Estes coming on the program. Great conversation with him. And I am so excited about the bill that was signed yesterday with the congressman there, with President Donald Trump, the Ending Improper Payments to Deceased Peoples Act. How crazy is it that we even have to have a bill that way to show we're not going to pay out different programs, different things to people that have been deceased? It's crazy to me that we even have to have a bill that way. That's kind of common sense. Hey, if you're dead, you probably don't need to be receiving any more money. But again, Social Security is that central hub. All the other payments to people that come out to other social programs, SNAP benefits and Medicare, Medicaid, or whatever else, grant money, doesn't matter, all checks the Social Security Administration. And if that one's not up to date, showing this person is no longer active or alive, then they're just going to keep sending the money out. And that's why, do you think, hint, hint, wink, wink, why it was so convenient that Democrats lost their minds when Doge and Elon Musk back in the day, the good old days about a year ago, were trying to access into Social Security because they didn't want that to happen. That's when they really lost their minds. Remember that?
We're all going to die because of you!
Yeah, so, it's good that we signed it. It's stupid that we had to, but I'm really glad that it is. And I think that's going to have a lot of impact on what's going on internally from D.C. that the media and no one else is going to cover, and that's why we have it for you right here on the program. I want to tell you about my friends over at Brickhouse Nutrition and Lean. As you know, everybody's talking about weight loss injections because the results have been really dramatic, and they work by lowering blood sugar and reducing appetite. But what if you're looking to lose weight and not be interested in the painful weekly injections or some of the potentially intense side effects you could get? That's why doctors created the weight loss supplement called Lean. I've been using it since January 1. I feel amazing. The results have been remarkable so far. The studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower blood sugar, burn fat by converting it to energy, and curb your appetite and cravings so you're just not as hungry. But Lean is not for the casual dieter. With only a few pounds to lose, doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for the frustrated dieter that wants to lose at least 10 pounds or more. Let's get you started there. You can get, right now, if you order, you get 20% off and free rush shipping, so that way you can start Lean as soon as you can and start your healthy diet and exercise plan. Here's how you do it. Go to TakeLean.com and enter the promo code REASON. Again, TakeLean.com, use the promo code REASON. Use that promo code, get that 20% off, get the free rush shipping, and tell us how it's affecting and helping you, and we can go on this journey together with TakeLean.com using that promo code REASON. All right, so real quick, the hearings that were happening up today in the House, I believe it was the House, with Pam Bondi. Can we just admit, and this is my personal opinion, you can agree, disagree, doesn't really matter, but Pam Bondi, out of the entire cabinet, probably the weakest link in the Trump administration. She tries really, really hard to be really kind of aggressive, and to me, it doesn't turn out as very effective as what it probably could be if she changed her tone just a little bit. And a lot of the conversation today was focused on the Epstein files, where I got to admit, it's unfortunate that we still have to deal with this, that a lot of it has still been redacted, and then she tried to change a lot of the topic when it was actually brought up.
And none of them asked Merrick Garland over the last 4 years one word about Jeffrey Epstein.
She's right.
How ironic is that? You know why? Because Donald Trump, the Dow right now is over. The Dow is over $50,000. I don't know why you're laughing. You're a great stock trader, as I hear, Raskin. The Dow is over 50,000 right now. The S&P at almost 7,000.
All right, that's all great. There are some issues that we still need to address. Look, in my opinion, like I said, the golden age of America is coming. Donald Trump is rocking it. We're getting a lot done. This has been the stickler point. Address the issue. And she kind of sidestepped a lot of it. She's right. We didn't ask, and they didn't ask elected officials, the Biden administration, about this information. It only became prevalent during the Trump administration. We know Donald Trump's not guilty in these issues. We know it. But just release the stuff and let us be able to move on. And it seems like they still want us to focus on all the other stuff. I don't get it. I just don't get it.
This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
Hey, it's Andy Hooser with the Voice of Reason. Fighting for conservative principles seems more difficult all the time. The progressive left finds new and creative ways to limit freedom, abuse power, and trample the Constitution each and every day. That's why we need the knowledge, resources, and common sense to push back. And that's where we can help. Head to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can find our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Let us know your thoughts on current events with different surveys and chat rooms. And keep track of what I might be doing or where I may be speaking. Plus, when you head to the website, you can always get great deals and different offers from all of our great radio partners. Finally, if you want more of the show, you can find our podcasts with all of our great episodes and your favorite guests. And make sure to check out the latest Voice of Reason infomercials and maybe some other special content. And it's all because of you being part of the Hoosier-holic family. Let's continue to fight for conservative common sense principles together by going to HooserReason.com. Why? Because it's kind of the reasonable thing to do.
Truth, reason, and common sense. This is the voice of reason with Andy Hooser.
You can let her filibuster all day long, but not on our watch. Not on our time. No way. And I told you about that, Attorney General, before you started.
You don't tell me.
Yeah, oh, I
anything.
did tell you because we saw what you did in the Senate.
You're not even a lawyer.
Committee will be in order.
Time, and I should get back at least 45 seconds.
We will give you a few more seconds. I
Not a
said that
few more,
already.
45 seconds.
Okay, I'm timing right now, Mr. Nadler.
All right.
My time.
I tell you, things got a little feisty today with Pam Bondi, current Attorney General for the Trump administration, and Congress going after her, honestly, from both sides, because they're looking for certain answers. The Epstein file is still coming out, but extremely redacted in some cases. And while she tried to address some of those, at the same time, was like, hey, look, the Dow's at 50,000 points, which is cool. That's great, but while we know the economy's getting better. We know that is. That's great. That's awesome. Well done. Hoorah. Like, we applaud you for that. Let's focus on one of the few minute points of the transparency that has not been where it needs to be under the Trump administration. But we'll get back to that in just a little bit. Let's shift gears a little bit as we go back to our...
Let's go to the Hoosier Media Hotline.
Speaking of the economy and speaking of tax season, which is right around the corner, the trade deals that the Trump administration's been doing. And now, I don't know if you're aware or not, there has been a major push nationwide, really, because of property valuations that have been increasing dramatically, and people that have been screaming for property tax relief, which is really good. Living here in the state of Kansas, we've had the same issue. In fact, our state legislature in Kansas now is trying to pass a constitutional amendment that would cap property valuations at a 3% growth every year to try and limit the amount of property tax that you would actually have. Now there's a new bill that would just remove property taxes altogether in the state of Kansas. Probably unlikely that'll go through this year, but it is a point of conversation. The state of Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis pushing for the same idea down in the state of Florida as well. To talk about some of this, where are we at with tax reform in the nation and what can we do? Happy to have on the program again with Now Tax USA, also known as No Other Way Tax USA. The man himself, good to have back on the program, Mr. Stephen Redden. Steve, how are you, my friend?
Very good. That's a hard act to follow, Pam Bondi, but as angry as people get, when it comes to taxes, I'm a frustrated American. The government takes all in. If you're an average person making $150,000, maybe $250,000 a year, and married, all in lifetime taxes is like $2.5 million. Talk about your affordability, and it segues right into property taxes, because out of that, on average, if you stay in your house till you're 70 years old, you end up paying the government to live in your house.
Yeah.
So, spot on.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, and I'm glad we're having a conversation about property tax. There are a lot of states that have already tried to transition away from property taxes, and at the end of the day, like you said, we even purchase and buy our home outright, and yet we still continue to contribute to, property taxes for a state or for a county and for a local. And look, I know we need to transition away. My question to you, Stephen, is how do we transition, and what are the alternatives? I'm a city councilman for our small town, and by small town, like our town is less than 1,000 in population in general. The vast majority of our revenue, and really the only revenue we have, is between property tax and then utility rates. If we get rid of property tax, which I agree we probably need to do, what are the alternatives that we need to focus on in order for small towns like that to be able to function?
Well, I don't know your state, but it's just time. We have to really actually think in terms of scrapping taxes as we know about them altogether.
Yeah.
Income, property, and wealth taxes. Number one, because there's a level of immorality to that. The eternal mortgage, the deal with the devil, which is the property tax, which that alone creates a problem just from a moral level, probably even from a legal level, if someone could have the strength or money to challenge it. But the only way you can do it is you've got to look at taxes, and this is kind of common sense.
Yeah.
The best tax is going to be the broadest tax. And the broadest tax means what can you tax to the level to make taxes overall lower. And what we've come up as our acronym is BEST, BBESST, which is broad base of every sale of services, goods, and financial transactions. That sounds horrible at first because you basically tax everything. But on the other hand, it's a nominal rate of 1% to 2%. So federally, it makes a lot of sense. Statewide, it probably makes sense too. You just have to work the numbers. Maybe the rate won't be 1 to 2%, but it might be closer to a 3% broad-based best tax. Which the benefit of that is, first off, every sector of the economy is going to be taxed equally and fairly, which overall, from your point of view, will lower the sales tax. So middle-income people and lower pay less sales tax as far as consumer benefit. Right. So there's the good and bad, but either way, you got to work the numbers. And the other way, as you mentioned, you got to figure out a way to pay the bills either way. So it's not a matter of how much, it's how you pay the bills. Right. So it's the best benefit for society, cash flow, economics, less impact on the economy. And so it's time to just, I mean, I hate to say it, throw the old systems out and look for a whole brand new system.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it is. And I think there's an appetite for it now, at least more so than there has been in the past, for sure. And your style is a little bit different from what we hear about normally, which is either the fair tax idea, which is just straight sales tax and getting rid of income, or the flat tax, which is just having the same percentage rate for an income or corporate tax rate across the board. Your style is just completely different from both of those altogether.
Well, first off, the fair tax is federally orientated.
Sure.
And it is only on new goods. It is only on people over the FPL, the federal poverty line. So basically, it's like an upside-down income tax. So the same 82 million households that are paying all the taxes, 91% of the taxes right now, still pay the majority of the taxes.
Right.
So it's not revenue neutral. It doesn't even collect enough taxes to even get to where we're at now. Right now, we collect $5.3 trillion a year. I think the fair tax might come in at like $3.5 trillion. So now we go further into debt.
Right.
The flat tax is just basically it's an income tax, which this the immorality of the income tax, which is in direct opposition of the Declaration of Life, Liberty, pursuit of happiness. Pursuit of happiness means self-ownership. Self-ownership is the extension of everything you own and make. Right. So the flat tax will end up coming in again around 15 to 20%. Just to collect enough taxes. So fundamentally, those taxes, they don't even get out of the gate. And then also on the fair tax, real world, it'll end up being probably close to 35% on new goods only. And there's no sales tax on used goods. So everyone would just buy a year-old car, a year-old boat, a year-old Rolex.
Right.
So it eliminates itself.
Right.
Just like the tariff concept, a couple guys going, we could just do enough tariffs to raise money. Well, the tariffs right now, the tariff system will raise, the real world number is $200 trillion. Well, $200 trillion is a far cry from $7 trillion that we have to pay in our federal budget.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned it because that's where I wanted to go next was, are we moving in the right direction? Trump had teased the idea of, like we did prior to, we started doing this income tax, which granted we didn't have a fourth branch of government. The government wasn't nearly the size that it was today, but he tries to reference the early 1900s when we had enough tariffs coming in to really fund the government. We didn't have to have an income tax. Is that the right direction to go? And, is that even feasible in today's time?
Not with a tariff, but with a broad-based sales tax, especially on a federal level. And no one has ever calculated this, and I've calculated as best I can using AI, every generator. Our total transactions, and you got to be sitting down when you hear this number, with derivatives, stock trades, loans, all in, export, imports. We could be can I even get the word $2 quadrillion in transactions annually? Well, it doesn't take a genius to figure out at 1%, that's $10 trillion in revenue.
Yeah.
And so you can see that it actually is there, but it really doesn't matter because sooner or later you got to pay the bill anyway. So you got to figure out what's the best way to pay the bills that's the easiest on the economy, best cash flow, easiest to administer, no forms, no filings. Which also we include tests, which all our deposits are with SIC codes. I don't even know what that is, but that's standard industry codes. So it actually supplants GDP. So you actually get a virtual reading every day of the economy. So you can imagine how for legislators, for administrators, for businesses, stock, they actually have a daily read on what every sector of the economy is doing that right there would be worth doing the best tax system.
Yeah. That's a great point. We're talking with Stephen Redden, Now Tax USA. You can go check out what they're all about. Now Tax USA. This year we've seen the kickoff of the no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime after the One Big Beautiful Bill. We're slowly cutting out taxes. Is it in the right direction right now, and is it moving towards what we potentially could see with a complete overhaul of what the tax system looks like?
Oh, to answer your question, the answer is yes. That's what's so cool about the tariff system. It proves in concept that a broad-based sales tax does work. What's also interesting is you brought out the facts that we're moving away from no income tax with no tips on Social Security, no tips on taxes or overtime. So if you're moving that direction anyway, why not just do it? As a matter of fact, if you were to take the best tax system and just only phase it in at a 0.25%, and then you check the performance, if the performance is where it should be, you would at 0.25%, you'd collect probably $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion. Well, as you're phasing it in, then you would lower the income tax rate percentage-wise with $1.5 trillion. You could probably lower then the tax brackets by 20% until you totally phase in, which I think that's what would end up happening, to be honest.
That would be good.
They'll do a phase in.
Yeah, I tell you what, Stephen, hang on. Yeah, we got to take a hard break here. Hang on the line. I want to continue that when we come back. It's Stephen Redden with the Now Tax USA. You can find their information. The future of the tax system here in the country, are we moving in the right direction? We'll continue that when we come back. Stay here.
This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Big government is broken. Every year, politicians fail to pass a budget as the deficit continues to grow. Every month, unelected bureaucrats pile on rules no one voted for, strangling our economy. And every day, D.C.'s broken system gets in the way of the American dream. Washington isn't working, and the people pay the price. At Americans for Prosperity, we believe it's time to fix the system. Now, join the movement to make government work.
When it comes to something like sausage, I know you want the best quality, the best flavor, and the best in services. Andy Hooser here for J&S Smoked Snacks. And it's time for you to try their handcrafted sausage, made in small batches for freshness and seasoned with their signature blends. You won't find anything else like it. Make sure to try their one-of-the-kind dill pickle sausage made with real pickles, or spice things up with my favorite, the jalapeno cheddar sausage. Taste the difference today at jssmokedsnacks.com and tell them I sent you.
When you choose Patriot Mobile, you're not just picking a wireless provider. You're choosing a company that shares your values. It's easy to switch, and you can keep your number, your phone, and most importantly, your values. With Patriot Mobile, you get the power of nationwide coverage on all 3 major networks. That means wherever life takes you, we've got you covered on the same reliable networks you already know and trust. And when you need us, we're here for you right here at home. Our customer service is 100% US-based because we believe that support should come from people who understand you and your values. At Patriot Mobile, you're not just another call, you're a priority. In today's world, where you spend your money matters more than ever, every dollar is a vote for the kind of future you want to build. Join the thousands of Americans making a difference with every call, every text, and every connection. Choose a company that shares your values. Choose Patriot Mobile.
Switch today and get 1 month of service absolutely free by going to patriotmobile.com/reason.
What fuels the freedom?
What fuels the freedom to dream bigger? Our country's greatest breakthroughs were born from bold ideas and the ability to take one small step forward. At Americans for Prosperity, freedom and opportunity find their defenders. Because our country's next giant leap is just around the corner. Are you ready to step up?
Hey, the live show may be almost over today, but it doesn't have to be for you. As always, enjoy the Voice of Reason with our daily podcast by finding the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser on any of your favorite podcasting sites. Just find us, subscribe, have it automatically downloaded, and listen at your convenience whenever you want to bring some more reason into your day. And a lot of people are doing it.
Also, you can always find the video of the show, along with articles, additional commentary, and maybe a few sarcastic remarks by following us on our social media. Stay up to date with everything going on with the show, including upcoming guests, breaking news stories, interesting articles, and maybe some memes. Help us in the ongoing battle with censorship and shadow banning from social media by following us on the social media at Hooser Reason on all of our social media sites. For all the social media links, podcast links, contact information, or just general information of the show, go to our website at HooserReason.com. There you can listen live every day, read our latest monthly blog, find our radio affiliate list, or even listen to our latest infomercials and special content. Plus, you can always reach out to the program by sending me a message on social media, emailing us at HooserMediaNetwork@gmail.com, or sending an email through our website at HooserReason.com. Whether it's content on the show, whether it's a guest that you've liked or disliked, or whether you want to disagree with me, and disagreement's always appreciated. While you're there, make sure to sign up for our monthly newsletter. Each month, you'll get the latest update on the show, updates from the Hooser Media Network, and our latest blog discussing topical issues of the day. Finally, if you want to help support the show, become a member of our Patreon site and help us fight for the cause of truth, reason, and common sense every day, and get more of the same by becoming the ultimate Hoosierholic. Get additional interviews that sometimes we don't always get to air on the radio. Hear our special segments or even our infomercials before anyone else, and have a chance to chat with other great Hoosierholics from all over. By becoming a Patreon subscriber, you're not only helping the fight for conservative values, you're helping us get more content and information out through the Hooser Media Network. Find out more information online at HooserReason.com. Lastly, follow and support all of our partners with the show. The Voice of Reason has been growing more and more every year, and it's because of so many great partners helping us get the message out to you. From show partners to local radio affiliates in your area to streaming sites, podcasting sites, and more, we have so many supporters and listeners now than ever before, and we want to thank you. It's time to bring back common sense, and we do it right here every day with the Voice of Reason.
America's safe space for common sense. This is the Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser.
Yeah, common sense, reason, rationale is what we do here on this program each and every day, especially for a Wednesday, middle of the week. Have no fear, the Voice of Reason is here. It's what we do on the show each and every day. Plenty to talk about for sure. You can find all of our information on our website, HooserReason.com, HOOSER. Reason.com. That's the handle for the social media. And if you want the podcast, which we had a major spike in podcast downloads just a few days ago, so thank you for that. That's awesome. You can search in any of your podcasting sites by just typing in The Voice of Reason with Andy Hooser. Subscribe to it, hang out with us, and we appreciate that very, very much. All right, we are hanging out right now as we talk about taxes, tax reform in the nation. Stephen Redden, Now Tax USA. You can find their information. Stephen, do you ever think that government will ever decrease itself enough for us to be sustainable? We have the 35, 36, 37, 38 trillion dollar debt, whatever it is right now, that continues to grow. And we've gone since COVID from a $5 trillion a year budget to a $7 trillion a year budget. Since COVID, we have not gone back to our prior COVID spending. Is there any chance government's going to decrease the size of itself in order for us to balance our budgets?
Actually, I can't believe you asked this question, because we are at a crossroads, because it is not sustainable, number one. And that crossroads is, and it's very frustrating, because when I listen to all the pundits every day talk about what it means to be Americans, no one can really answer the question, but I do have the exact answer. It came from the Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. I'll try to do it real quick. Pursuit of happiness, which literally, pursuit of happiness is from John Locke. It's self-ownership, and self-ownership means you own yourself and you own the fruits of your labor.
Yeah.
Well, where we've, 16th Amendment, that's where the federal government began to take our income, and I don't know when property taxes raise its ugly head, but so until we fundamentally start teaching self-ownership and the fruits of our labor, and you own yourself, that is the core of our existence, of who we are as Americans. And that's lost, and that being lost, and so the federal government's only job is to protect citizens and their property. That is their only job, and every law written should be looked through that lens. Until we cross that road and go back to our roots and our founding, we are on the road to tyranny, we're on the road to collectivism, we're on the road to communism, and there's no in between. It's either you're self-ownership, Declaration of Independence, a la John Locke,
yep.
Or you're going down the road to tyranny, collectivism, communism, authoritarianism.
Yeah, no,
Simple as that.
Yeah, exactly. No, you're absolutely right. We use a variation of that on the program as well, where we talk about our 3 pillars of conservatism on the program, which is the same thing. We use the terms of life, liberty, and private property, which is essentially that exact same mindset where your private property, your intellectual private property, whatever you create, whatever you actually own, that is your private property, and you have to continue to hold on to that and fight for it every day. The problem is that we've allowed that to be so loosey-goosey for so long that I don't know what kind of system we live in today, right? It's not a true free market capitalist society. There's some cronyism going on. There's a lot of aspects of socialism going on.
Yeah.
We're just kind of a quasi blend of everything right now, and we don't really have a true identity as a nation, do we?
Yeah, but let me put a real fine point on this just in case for your listeners. You probably know this. John Locke's original phrase was life, liberty, and the state. And then he went on to describe his state as property.
Yeah.
So then it was James Madison who put life, liberty, and property in the Virginia Constitution. And then our cowards, our wokeism arose when Jefferson changed it to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which, by the way, pursuit of happiness is a John Locke phrase as well, because back in the day, you could own people. So property, there's your first wokeism, is Thomas Jefferson had to eliminate property because it just wasn't a cool thing, especially with John Adams and Abigail. They were abolitionists.
Sure.
And so that's where we got the injection, which kind of skewed us a little bit and took us off our game. And back to what you're saying, until we start teaching life, liberty, and property meaning yourself, self-ownership first.
Yeah.
And that's where that's the key. It's self-ownership. You own yourself, and anything that you produce is yours, or collect, or own, or purchase, or earn.
That's right.
So until we get there, I'm telling you, we're going to be lost. There's my prediction.
Yeah.
If we don't cross over to that, back to 1776, 7076 again.
Yeah. Yeah, we have a lot of work to do. We are, I think, like you said, moving in the right direction, and I think the opportunity for us to do major reform to get back to where we need to be is upon us. We just have to seize the day, take, carpe diem, and take advantage of the situation here, which I hope that we do at least start moving that needle in the right direction. Stephen, it's great to talk to you, my friend. It's always great to get you on the show. Got to do it again real soon.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. You're doing a great. Americans need to hear this. That's all there is to it.
Well, I appreciate it, and keep up the fight on your end. It's great to have you out there fighting as well. We'll do it again soon. Until then, we're back at it again tomorrow for your pre-Friday celebration. We'll see you back on the radio soon. Bye. Hey, it's Andy Hooser. You know, when I get off the air every day, the battle for me against limited government, censorship, and even unfactual content is far from over. That's why now I'm so happy to say that the Hooser Media Network is giving you more opportunity to catch the voice of reason along with other great shows and podcasts. It's been a long time in the works, and now you can finally enjoy more great content, services, and topical shows. We're the safe space for alternative talk, information, and ideas that the mainstream media absolutely hates. From holistic and alternative medicine, discussions on religion and spirituality, pure entertainment shows, and of course yours truly with the voice of reason. Plus, we offer numerous media services, including helping you set up your own podcast. Become your own voice of reason and bring your expertise to any fun issue or topic. For information on all of our shows, links to podcasts, each show website or social media link, or to find out about everything we do to challenge the mainstream establishment, visit our website at HooserMedia.com. Again, that's HooserMedia.com, the future of media.